Hi and welcome to Police Beat. I'm your host, Captain Tom Merson. We have a very interesting program this month. We're going to be talking to Detective Lori Kratzer, an expert in a very important area, that's elder abuse. In addition, we're going to be talking about ATM safety. The chief will be here with a special message, and there will be a number of other important segments I think you're really going to enjoy. So stay with us.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Venable with the Palo Alto Police Department, and today's Crime on the Street segment, we're going to talk about automated teller machines. They become commonplace in our society, and they're a convenient and fast way to obtain money 24 hours a day. But there's some safety tips you should keep in mind as you approach ATMs. One of the first things you should do as you drive up or walk towards an ATM is be aware of your surroundings. Look at the area. If there's suspicious persons, suspicious vehicles, there might be a better time to come back to that ATM. You should also have all of your items ready as you exit your car or as you walk up to the ATM. Have your purse securely up against you, have your wallet tightly in hand, and your ATM card ready. As you approach the machine, use your body to block the keypad so that others standing nearby in some of the more crowded ATM configurations can't see the numbers that you're entering. If you sense that something is wrong, if someone is getting too close, or if the circumstances have changed since you first approached the ATM, it might be better to cancel your transaction and walk away and come back a little later when you feel it's safer. Also, many of the ATMs now put mirrors on their ATM so that you can see the environment and the people and activity behind you. If you sense somebody moving nearer or closer to you, you may again want to cancel your transaction and come back another time. When approaching the ATM at night, it's best to go to an ATM that is well lit and where there may be other people. If you can avoid going to ATMs in the middle of the night, that's probably best. And to plan out your trips in advance so that you don't have to go at late night trips. Another thing to consider is to approach an ATM with a friend. There is safety in numbers, and while you're conducting your business transaction, your partner could be looking out for other activity or persons approaching. Remember, always trust your instincts. In all my years of law enforcement, I've had more than just one victim tell me that they sensed something was wrong, that a person didn't look right, that a certain car looked a little suspicious, but they tended to discount their instinct and instead became victims. Don't become a victim. Trust your instincts. If things don't look right, walk away. Call the police. Go back to an ATM later on or in another location. There are also ATMs that have locked doors where you would go through in order to enter into a room to get to their ATM. Before going into the room, look through the window. Be aware of your surroundings. Trust your instincts. And always be careful as you walk back to your vehicle. Have your keys ready. Know that your purse is in hand or your wallet is in your back pocket. I'm Mark Venable with another segment of Crime on the Streets.
Elder abuse is a crime which is expected to explode in numbers due to the changing demographics in California and the nation. Currently, California has approximately 3.7 million residents over the age of 65. The U.S. Census Bureau projects California's elderly population to double within the next 20 years to 6.4 million people. In fact, California's elderly population is the largest in the nation. Santa Clara County's 65 and older population is projected to grow by 90% between today and the year 2020. I'd like to welcome Detective Lori Kratzer to the show. She is an expert on elder abuse, and we're going to talk to her today about that subject. Lori, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tom.
I want to start by asking you what exactly we mean when we talk about elder and dependent adult abuse.
Well, the California Penal Code, Section 368, actually defines an elder as a person who is 65 years of age or older. And a dependent adult is someone who has physical or mental limitations which restrict their normal activity or their ability to protect their rights. That's the definition, and there's basically 4 general categories of elder and or dependent adult abuse. And they include physical abuse, which can mean beatings, it can mean sexual assault, it can mean deprivation of food and water. It can mean restraining a person. So it covers issues like that. That's the first category. The second would be financial abuse, and that covers basically almost every aspect of financial abuse: theft, embezzlement, misuse of funds or property, and fraud. And in the third category would be mental abuse. And that can be a number of things. It can be verbal assaults and threats and harassment. It can be isolation. It can be anything causing basically severe emotional stress to an elder, or even confinement. These things are seen as mental or psychological abuse. And the last type of abuse would be neglect, including self-neglect. And this covers the deprivation of food, clothing, shelter, failure to provide for medical care, other issues that would affect the elder. And this can be self-inflicted, like I said, also by the elder. Sometimes people start losing capacity and don't provide for, say, they become malnutritioned, either
Okay.
by a caregiver or by themselves.
Well, let me ask you this, Lori. What kind of an impact does this have on law enforcement, and what exactly are we in Palo Alto doing about it?
As you said at the beginning, the mere numbers, the demographic shifts in the nation, in California, and this county, of the elder population, especially in the next 10 to 20 years, is going to be great. And then there's an educational issue of people becoming aware of elder independent adult abuse. It's sort of as a comparison, especially for law enforcement, it's where our awareness level and maybe training level was about 10 years ago for domestic violence. So what we've done in Palo Alto here, just this spring, as you know, we did training for all officers on the new Santa Clara County Law Enforcement Protocol, which covers elder and dependent adult abuse. And it's about 80 pages, and it's designed for patrol officers to investigate and respond to elder abuse and dependent adult abuse. And then it breaks it down for detectives and follow-up investigation. And it teaches us how to work with other agencies that are involved in the investigation of elder abuse. It's not just law enforcement, but it's Adult Protective Services, which we have our Santa Clara County Adult Protective Services. It's basically social workers that offer services to the elders, actually get involved in investigations with the police. We have our district attorney's office, who has assigned special deputy DAs to handle elder abuse, physical abuse, and financial abuse. So it's sort of a team effort. I think we're probably right now just seeing the tip of the iceberg of reporting, of getting our officers trained to recognize abuse, to listen and not stereotype elders, to actually be aware of what they're seeing, of listening, of responding correctly, and cross-reporting to the other agencies we work with. So I think the impact's going to be great. We're going to see a huge increase in the number of reported cases.
Okay, we're going to continue this conversation in just a minute, but we have to take a short break. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Officer Heather Akins of the Palo Alto Police Department, currently assigned to hiring and training. If you've ever thought about a career with the Palo Alto Police Department and law enforcement, now's the time to apply. With so many agencies, you may wonder, why Palo Alto? We offer a great 4-11 work schedule, which means you work 4 11-hour days and have 4 days off every week. We offer competitive salaries, excellent benefits, and have a variety of specialty positions to offer. But mostly, we have a unique group of people who are amazing to work with and learn from. If you think you have what it takes to be a Palo Alto police officer, call today for an application. Our number is 329-2601, or visit us on the web at www.papd.org.
Welcome back. We're talking to Detective Lori Kratzer about elder abuse. Lori, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned all of these types of abuse that occur, but what types of these cases are occurring in Palo Alto, and who are the perpetrators?
Well, Palo Alto is like any other community, and we have all types of abuse occurring here. It's not restricted to any social or economic group or any particular community. So we see it all. We have some specific financial crimes that are seen in this community as in others. There's some very highly organized criminals out there that prey on the elderly.
So these would be scams, that kind of thing?
They're scams. Some are quite elaborate. But the perpetrators can be these very organized crooks, or they can be caregivers. Unfortunately, they can be family members. So the abuse or the scam can come from different areas and be targeted on the elderly.
Can you mention a couple of these types of scams to give people an idea of what to look out for?
Yes, actually in Palo Alto we've seen telemarketing scams and sweepstakes scams. And these are obviously over the telephone, soliciting funds, getting information from seniors, having them send cash or checks, or actually going down, convincing them to go to their banking institution and drawing large amounts of cash. The sweepstakes scams many times and the telemarketing also come from outside the United States many times, and it can be solicited through the mail. Many times the senior might get an announcement saying you've won a sweepstakes or a lottery, and the only thing you have to do to collect your winnings is to pay the taxes on it or pay some fee, and many times it can go into the thousands of dollars. And seniors are very trusting. Many times they will actually fall for this. It looks very professional. They believe they've won, and they will send these crooks money to collect their alleged winnings.
And we've had those cases here.
We've had cases like that here. And telemarketing is there all the time. I would ask any senior to think about the mail they get on a daily basis that solicits money. I'd also caution not to be sending out banking information or social security number.
So protect their personal identification.
Yes, their identity, because many times these crooks are organized enough to be able to tap into one's checking account or savings.
Any other common scams?
Yes, home improvement scams, that's another one that happen.
This is like the roofing scams and
Roofing
that kind of thing?
scams, tree trimming scams, paving of the driveway, fixing concrete. Many times these are also very organized criminals, and they will target the elderly. Many times they'll drive a pickup truck, they'll be in pairs, they will drive around our city looking for the elderly out in their yards, can even follow people home from the grocery store, the bank, senior center.
But we should caution people that there are certainly legitimate contractors, and they should be careful.
Yes. But if you have a legitimate contractor, you have probably called that contractor. Most legitimate contractors are not going to be soliciting door-to-door for business.
Okay.
And the best thing, if someone comes to your door saying your roof needs repair, I can look at it for free, your trees need trimming, your driveway needs repaving, you didn't call them.
So that's your
They've
cue.
targeted you.
That's your cue when somebody
Yes.
comes to your door. Okay.
Be careful not to give a check, deposits.
Okay.
You know, take the time to check these people out. Do not hesitate to call the Palo Alto Police Department to have an officer come out if you feel suspicious. Many times these type of crooks want to get inside your home because they know a lot of our seniors keep cash in their homes. Do not let these people inside your house.
Okay.
Just be cautious. You can still be polite and courteous, but the best thing is to call the police.
Now, seniors often tend to underreport these kinds of crimes, don't they?
Yes, all types of crimes,
Why is
these
that?
and others. There's a lot of emotional and psychological issues for a senior, feelings of embarrassment, fears and shame involved that they got scammed, or if it's a physical abuse case or an emotional abuse case, just that they may be losing competency, and maybe the fear comes in about losing their independence. Many times it's a money issue. If it's a scam that way, they don't want friends or relatives to know.
Sure.
Embarrassment, shame, all sorts of issues like that.
Well, Lori,
And it's understandable when you think about it for a senior.
do you have a final word of advice or a final message for seniors who may be watching?
Yes, I would like to say that we respect you and that we are committed to seeking justice for you if you've been victimized. We're training ourselves. We want to respond to issues regarding elder and dependent adult abuse, and protect yourselves. Plan for the future. Don't stay isolated. call the police, call Adult Protective Services, call me personally if you have a question. And APS, Adult Protective Services, has a 1-800 number, 24-hour access to call there also.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lori. We do appreciate it. You've given us some real insight into the very important subject of elder abuse. Thanks for being here today.
You're welcome, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Agent Curtis Jackson of the Palo Alto Police Department's traffic team. Welcome to Traffic Talk. With the start of the new school year, the Palo Alto Police Department's traffic team will again focus its attention to school safety. During the week of September 10th through September 14th, the traffic team will participate in a countywide enforcement program called Operation Safe Passage. The purpose of this program is to alert parents transporting children to school, commuters who drive through school zones, and children walking or riding their bicycles to school that traffic safety is a priority and rules of the road will be enforced. Each day during the campaign, motorcycle officers will be on duty in the areas of the local schools. The officers will concentrate on traffic violations, especially hazardous around school zones, such as passing school buses when the red lights are flashing, vehicles speeding through school zones, failure to yield to pedestrians, jaywalking, bicycle helmets, seatbelt and child restraint violations, vehicles using bicycle lanes to pass other cars, and any other violations that are seen by the officers. Even after the conclusion of the enforcement program, the traffic team will continue to patrol the school zones on a daily basis for the entire school year. The Palo Alto Police Department is dedicated to school safety. For Traffic Talk, I'm Agent Curtis Jackson.
Hello, I'm Karen McAdams, Court Liaison Officer with the Palo Alto Police Department. And joining me today is Special Agent Iron White with the California Department of Justice, Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement. Iron is here today to discuss with us a little bit about club drugs and educate us a little bit about what club drugs are and some of their effects and kind of really what they consist of. Iron, really what are club drugs and where are they found?
Well, club drugs, it's a vague term that covers a wide variety of drugs. And the drugs are ecstasy, GHB, Rohypnol, ketamine, and in some cases LSD and PCP.
And where are they found mostly? Where are these drugs kind of popping up and where are they being found?
Well, they're found at all-night dance parties, usually referred to as raves, or where there's techno music and dance parties or all-night dance parties.
I see. Now, can you describe some of the different club drugs? You just kind of mentioned their names. Can you kind of describe them? What are some of their slang names that you might hear about them? And basically, what do they consist of? I know they're all synthetic drugs. And kind of what kind of a high do they produce in people?
Well, the first one is ecstasy, MDMA, and it's known as methylene dioxymethamphetamine. The street names would be ecstasy, E, as in E. Edward, X, or XTC. It's known as the hug drug or the love drug. That would be the first and the foremost prominent drug that we're looking at.
I see. And what kind of a high does that produce? You say the hug drug or the love drug. Can you explain that a little bit?
Ecstasy produces a high like amphetamine or methamphetamine, which is like a speed. It speeds the person up, but it has a hallucinogenic effect. Kind of like a mild LSD. Coupled together, they're sped up and they're basically hallucinating.
I see. And then you mentioned GHB. I know there's Rohypnol, ketamine, LSD, which has been around since the 60s, and also PCP. Can you explain GHB and Rohypnol and ketamine a little bit?
Yes, GHB, that's gamma hydroxybutyrate. And known on the street as G or Georgia Homeboy. There's a wide variety of names for GHB. That has an effect like an intense sedative, more like alcohol. 1 capful of GHB is the equivalent of 6 glasses of beer.
I see. Now, moving on to Rohypnol, I know this has been in the news in probably the last 6 months to a year, known kind of as a date rape drug. Can you explain that a little bit more about Rohypnol?
Rohypnol is definitely a sedative, but it has pronounced, very, very pronounced amnesia effects. it can debilitate the user or a victim if a person decides to sedate somebody with that particular drug. It's a very dangerous drug.
I see. And then finally, ketamine. I know we talked a little bit earlier. You'd said it's similar to PCP. Ketamine is an anesthetic, is that correct?
Yes, it has analgesic properties. It's a veterinarian drug, and it's weaker than PCP, but with the same properties. It can actually freeze the user and make them sort of robotic and put them in a trance-like state.
I see. Doesn't sound very good. What are some of the short and long-term effects of using these club drugs?
Well, the short-term effects with ecstasy would be, we're talking short-term memory loss, and that's the good of the situation. Usually there's long-term memory loss because ecstasy is a neurotoxin. It's poison to the brain. It stops or shuts off or impairs the brain's ability to create serotonin, which is a major chemical in the brain that governs mood, it governs the body's temperature, it governs their higher cognitive abilities. So that's the properties of ecstasy.
And who are using club drugs mainly?
I would say that adolescents through young adults and people that frequent these all-night dance parties, the techno music dance partying crowd, basically.
I see. And whereabouts, who's supplying these drugs? Where are they coming from?
They're coming in from Amsterdam, from Europe, Germany. Actually, they've been caught coming in by customs from Asia and even Mexico. They're also manufactured in the U.S. in clandestine laboratories.
I see. And finally, if a parent suspects their child or friends or family members suspect people of using these, what can they look for? What are some side effects? What can they look for if they suspect this kind of drug use?
Well, if we're talking ecstasy, they can expect their child to be basically sped up with a very high heart rate. The body temperature is going to be elevated. They're probably going to be very talkative. The pupils will be dilated, kind of like a person would be if they're under the influence of methamphetamine. They're also, there's paraphernalia that goes along with that drug, and they are pacifiers, suckers. We're talking, the butterfly is the national symbol for ecstasy, for E. If they see the word or the letters PLUR, that's peace, love, unity, and respect, plur. So you can see that in the form of tattoos written on their binders, their clothing, and that would definitely indicate usage of ecstasy. Now, in terms of GHB, the kid would be under the influence of what looked like an alcoholic drunk, a person that would be inebriated. So they may have a stagger, slurred speech, heavily sedated. They're going to look like they've had lots of alcohol.
I see. Well, thank you very much, Iron. Thank you for being with us today and sharing some of the information. If you would like more information about club drugs or drugs in general, Special Agent Iron White can be reached at area code 408-452-7360, or if you'd like more information, you can check the websites out of www.stopdrugs.org or www.clubdrugs.org. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, my name is Dana Della Rocha. I'm a property crimes detective for the Palo Alto Police Department. I investigate burglaries of all types, including homes, commercial establishments, and automobiles. I also handle grand thefts, embezzlements, and all stolen vehicle investigations. I've been a police officer for 20 years, and I'm a member of our SWAT team, which handles all critical incidents. In addition to SWAT, I have done bicycle patrol, traffic, field training of new officers, and recruiting. I have a lot of hobbies, which include riding my 2 motorcycles, a Harley-Davidson, and a Ducati. I also enjoy scuba diving and recently got my 13-year-old son certified as well. I also have a second job as a skydiving instructor. I have been jumping for 10 years and have over 1,300 jumps. 200 of those jumps were sky surfing, or skyboarding as some like to call it. Sky surfing is by far the most challenging discipline in parachuting. Look for my police collector card and you'll see me over the skies of Monterey dressed in full SWAT regalia.
Hi, I'm Pat Dwyer. I'm the Chief of Police in Palo Alto, and in the minute that Tom Merson generously gives me this month, I'd like to talk a little bit about school traffic safety, since it's September and kids are going back to school. We have a major commitment to work with the schools in Palo Alto to make the commute to and from school as safe as we can. The Palo Alto Police Department has already sent out a letter to the parents of all elementary school and middle school children attending Palo Alto schools, giving them traffic safety tips. We're also assigning our motorcycle officers and our patrol officers to work the areas of the school during commute hours as much as possible, and to direct traffic in a safe manner and see if we can reduce speeds and get as much compliance from the drivers as we can. But it's also important for parents to work with their children and tell them how to get to and from school safety. I'd like to, if I can, draw everybody's attention to an article that was in the Palo Alto Daily on August 27th, written by Officer Paul Sheff. And at this time, I'd like to also thank Paul Sheff for all the work that he does doing the question and answer column in the Daily on traffic issues. But in that article, Paul Sheff points out to some very specific things that parents can do to help their kids get to and from safety. And it's kind of divided into three areas. The first area is riding the bus. And Paul points to things as simple as making sure that your kids wait for the bus in a safe place. Wait until the bus is completely stopped before you get on the bus. When they get off the bus, to take 10 giant steps away from the bus and make sure that they're in a safe place. And most importantly, make sure that when the bus pulls away, kids don't immediately run out into the road and think that it's safe to cross because the bus is driven away and they may be right across the street from their school. It's extremely important that when the bus pulls away, the kids obey traffic signals and crossing guards and only cross where it's safe. A second thing that Paul points out is the fact that every year in the United States, 1,800 children die and 300,000 children are injured in traffic accidents while they're riding in vehicles. And many of these are the results of seatbelt violations. So when you're driving your children to school, if you drive them, make sure they're properly belted in. And if you have small children who are riding in baby seats or the kind of seats that toddlers ride in, make sure that it's properly installed. What we've found is that 80% of those seats are not properly installed and may not work if the vehicle is involved in an accident. And we have an officer on the Palo Alto Police Department who will come to your home, inspect it, and make a proper installation if that's necessary. Feel free to give us a call if you'd like somebody to do that. Perhaps more important than anything else, make sure that your kids just realize that traffic safety is a problem and they have a responsibility to obey traffic laws, to walk to school in a safe manner or bike to school in a safe manner. And if you don't stress anything else to them, please stress to them that they can't walk out or ride their bike out from between cars and expect to be safe. One of the most dangerous things that a kid can do is dart out from between cars or ride a bike out from between cars because the oncoming traffic has no way to know that that's going to happen, and it's extremely hazardous. So there's more tips than the ones that I've just mentioned in Paul's article, but those are some that I really wanted to drive home. While you're driving to and from work, especially now at the beginning of school, please watch out for kids. If you have kids, talk to them about walking to school or biking to school safety. And if you're driving your kids to school, make sure that they're belted in and that you drive safely, and watch out for the other kids that are in the area of the school when you're dropping your kids off. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Police Beat this month. We want to know what you think about our program. Contact us by email or call us directly. Thanks for watching. See you next month.